right, guys, welcome back to Apartment 3 podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, Vic Smith.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all good? Y'all good?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic, actually. I had a great night of sleep, so I'm just ready to go.
That's good. It's always good waking up in the morning. So I'm going to just start off how we usually do. Just tell the people that don't know just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Vic Smith. I am an artist from Las Vegas. Well, I'm originally from Saginaw, Michigan. But when I was about 7 or 8, I moved to Vegas. And I think when I was about 12, I've always loved music. I've always loved sound in general. But I didn't start like songwriting or really get a addiction for it until I was like 12 or so. Because like I would see my cousins like write rhymes and bars and things. And I'm like, yo, like, what's that? Like, what are y'all doing? They'd be like, yo, like, we're rapping. And like, I saw the way that they wrote things down on paper and all of that. So I just copied them. And next thing I know, it's like, yo, this is like really fun. Like, I love this. And then the same thing with beat making like 2 years later, just because I love production in general, and it's the thing that makes you move the most when you're listening to music is obviously the beat. And I've always wanted to create something in that sense and just be versatile in that aspect. Like J. Cole and Kanye West, Odyssey, Fontaine, like Ninth Wonder are huge influences on me when it comes to that for sure.
So you said you moved when you were 8?
Yeah,
so
seven.
So if you can talk about why did you move out to Vegas?
Saginaw is a small town with some small-minded people, and it's just there's not a lot of opportunity out there. It's a town of like 50,000 people, and there's not a lot of resources. So in order for my mom's kids to have a better life or a better chance at succeeding, she brought us out to Vegas. And at the time, the city was still like growing and whatnot. So we just moved here. And then my mom wanted to be closer to her dad. So it was being closer to her dad and then making the conscious decision to make sure that her kids had better resources and could grow and just have success in whatever they wanted.
So what was it like moving from Michigan to Vegas? I know it's completely two different climates probably as well, right?
Two completely different climates, two different cultures. Like Vegas is just now kind of like catching up like on its culture, I guess you could say. But in the Midwest, it's just a totally different, like it's a totally different thing. Like here, like people will argue with you and they call something, they call pop soda. Like I call it pop. Yeah. Of course, the correct term is soda pop, but pop is just, it was something normal. So I would go to the store, I'd be like, hey, where's your guys' pop? I get looked at like I was crazy. They're like, soda? And I'm like, one, it's not that deep. I was like, but yeah, soda. The climate is just, I miss the snow. I just don't miss the code of the snow. Like, I love getting in like snowball fights and building snowmen, but oh my God, man, when it's negative or it's like 3 below 0, like it's just not, it's not fun. It's not.
Yeah, we're from Southern California, so it's like
we're like year-round beautiful weather. Yeah.
If you want to say that, I don't agree. I mean, I feel
it's like more on the coastal Southern California. We're more inland, so like Victorville area gets real cold in the winter and real hot in the summer.
Yeah,
you guys get snow.
We actually got snow Thanksgiving Day. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, then never mind. You guys totally understand. It's cold as fuck.
Well, our cold I think is different. Our cold is like 35.
Oh, yeah. You guys are straight. That's like Vegas. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so you said growing up in Michigan, did you have any hip-hop albums you liked listening to growing up?
Definitely The Love Below by Andre 3000.
Okay.
Like, I could not stop listening to that that album, like, from top to bottom. Like, even the weird songs, I was like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I still love those. Like, even to this day, like, especially listening to the album when I was so young. I think it came out in like 03 or 04. And let me think. I wasn't even like 15 at the time. So I would listen to that album from front to back. And it was just, some of the songs were just like, I don't get this. I don't understand this. But as I got older, I learned to appreciate the songs. And some of those songs became my favorite off the album. And like for the album to grow on me for like 10 straight years. And even now today, like it just goes to show like that's just a classic album to me. But just that album has such an influence because the genres on the album, like it's not all hip hop. Like there are a few tracks on there that you can consider rap or hip hop, but for the most part, it's just like experimental music. And the way that he did things from like My Favorite Things or the track Spread or even She Lives in My Lap or a fan favorite, which is Prototype off the album. Like it's just everything is so different on that album. And just like he's experimenting and there's just a classic album, man. Like there was no limitations creative wise on that. And I love it. That's what I strive to be when I make music.
Would you consider Andre 3000 like your biggest influence?
Andre 3000 and Fonte of Little Brother. Like it's a hard tie. Like it's so difficult. But I guess if I had to choose, it would be Fonte only because like I grew up listening to like Little Brother, and every time Fonte dropped a track, it didn't matter. Like I would search the internet high and low to find it. Like Fonte he's like a god to me, and musically, the dude is incredible. He's a fucking genius.
So, are there any other music genres that you also listen to as well?
I listen to everything, probably except country, and that's only because like I haven't dived into it. Like I know like one country song by a cat named Mo Bandy, and he's like, it's like I'm 2 beers away from a beautiful day. Like I don't know, I just can't really relate to that because at that time I didn't even really like beer when I heard that song. But I listen to everything, man. R&B, hip hop, even pop. Like I was listening to Britney Spears' "Toxic" a couple weeks ago. Like that joint is hard. Anything that sounds good, like I said, like I like sound, so just anything in rhythm that sounds good, I'm going to like. Like it may not even necessarily have a genre, but if it's a scratch on the wall and it sounds dope and someone puts it on the track or whatever, it's like, yo, that's hard. Like that's music to me. Like that's dope.
So what do you think of like artists like Lil Nas who like blended country and rap together with his song Old Town Road?
Personally, I love it. I don't necessarily love the song, but I love the action, the idea, the concept of just fusing music like that, because when you fuse the music, you fuse the culture, and it breaks down a lot of barriers. So country and hip hop, which is more so like black and white, is just interesting because now you have some of those barriers just being knocked down, and just like the very fact that country people didn't even want it on their billboards, or just they didn't want to give them those awards. Like it even broke down those barriers to the point where like Billy Ray Cyrus came out and was like, nah fam, like this is music. Like at the end of the day, we're all human. So like it pushes the culture forward in a sense when you do things like that. It's very surprising.
So would you consider it more of a country or a hip hop song? Or both?
It's for me, I guess it's the content that's country more so than the beat. The beat is for sure like hip hop, most definitely. And I think with that guitar loop in the background, like or whatever that sound is, I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Like I feel like it's half and half, because the content, the lyrics are for sure like country. That was his intent, and then the melody more so. Like I think that's an important part or an important fixture on it all. So it's probably say like 50-50.
So do you think Billboard was in the wrong for taking it off the country charts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like I feel like that's absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. I don't think they should have the dictation on
man,
what's on and off.
It's a limitation when you do that. It's like, oh, you can't do this, or we don't like. Then I feel like it was more so a personal thing. Like, here comes this black kid taking over the country charts, which is, majority are dominated by white people. So they were just like I don't know how to feel about this. I don't like that. It was uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, like I said, like it breaks down that barrier, and it really makes people look at themselves. And it's like, you're really not going to let this happen because of, like the racial barrier. Like that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
So, your name is Vic Smith. Is that your actual name, or is that your musical name?
My actual name is Victor Smith, but
Smith.
Everybody just calls me Vic. And Victor obviously means victorious, and Smith is just like a creator or maker of things. Like the term that you hear most often will probably be like blacksmith. But like I joke around and be like, there's a baby Smith, or there's a beat Smith. So it's just like, my name is Vic Smith. So my real name is Victor Smith, but Vic Smith, I just look at it like I make victories in whatever I do. Like I can't lose. So that is, I think, a pretty dope way to look at my name.
So is that the reason you decided to stick with your name instead of getting like a hip hop nickname instead?
No, not necessarily. It was just, I just found that out like a couple, I put it together a couple of years ago. I wanted to go with my real name just because of people like Kendrick Lamar and Fonte and like Lauryn Hill, just because like I feel like some of the realest artists, I can't necessarily say realest artists, but some of the artists that like I really connected with, they use like their real name. Like even J. Cole or even Andre 3000, like that part of his name is in his name. And I would always do like some weird name thing. And I was like, okay, I was always changing my name every 6 months. I was like, so why not just go by my real name? I don't have to worry about anybody taking it because my real name is Vic Smith. So that's why I went with the name.
So you said you were changing your name a lot. Did you have, what were some of the past names that you try to use?
Let me think. Vic Vaughn, because it was a combination of my first name and my middle name.
Okay.
Then it was State Pen, like my state of mind in a pen. Like, oh, that was awful. I had another one. It was Cool V, Lil Vic. Like it was, I didn't like any of them. They were all just, I don't even like to think about
how
it.
long would you keep each name before you're like, I don't like it?
It was mainly because like, I would keep my name a secret from my older brother because he's kind of like, he's like my like inspiration. Like he's the reason why like I fell in love with hip hop and just wanted to like to rap. Like his passion for it made me just, you know, curious about it, and I jumped into it. So he was like, if he didn't like it, like I didn't like it. So he would come in sometimes and he'd be like, yo, like I would be naming a song and he'd be like, is that your rap name? Like, that's it? Like, that's what you're going with? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going with. He's like, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you're going with? And it'll make me question. I'd be like, you know what? That is kind of whack. Like, I don't want that. So I just went with my real name. And when I told him that, he was like, that's solid. Like, I can't hate on that. There's nothing I can do about it. So that's how that went down.
So have you told him that like directly?
Oh yeah, we do joke about it all the time. Like he'll bring up names like every now and then just to mess with me. Like he'll scream out the name and I'll be like, yo, relax. Like don't do that. Don't do that.
That was old. Stop bringing up old shit, huh?
Yeah, it's just like even on FCC, the label, we have Diz, you know, we're on the label as music artists, but we're close as well. And I told him like the whole State Pen thing, and he's like I'm in his phone as State Pen, and it's just like it's terrible.
So you touched on FCC, and do you want to explain exactly what that is?
FCC is a label based out of Las Vegas. The label head is Miles Noise Martin. Just a solid team that we put together. You got Noise, then you have Miles Lowe, me, Vic Smith, and then you have Diz. It's the FCCMG stands for Full Circle Core Music Group, and really it's just, I can honestly say like a family of people, just like a team of people just trying to move, kind of like much like maybe what you guys have here. It's just we're trying to move together and grow. And it's very interesting because at one point me and Noise used to be like low-key rivals in high school. Like really? He beat me out for most musically inclined, and I was just like, I was pissed because I was like, what do you mean? But dude is actually like, in my opinion, like a musical genius. Like he can, the way that he makes like production and not just beats is just incredible. Like he produces too. Like if you get into a studio with just anybody, like he can make it work. So it's just like I said, it's a team of people. We're all chasing a dream, trying to make the impossible happen.
Yeah. So speaking of Miles Lowe and Noise, they're actually going to be up next on the podcast.
Yeah, actually just left Noise's house to get my t-shirts. I was like, yo, do you have my t-shirts? Because I can't find them anywhere. He's like, yeah, bro, they're here from the last show from Brooklyn Bowl. So what was the question? I'm sorry, I spaced out.
Yeah, well I was just mentioning
them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're up next, but
yeah, they're you guys are going to be in for some great interviews, especially with Lowe. Lowe's he's hilarious.
All right, that's dope. So yeah, you mentioned the Brooklyn Bowl, and that was just recent, right?
Yeah, that was about 2 weeks ago, I want to say. 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So was that sort of like almost one of the biggest venues you've ever done?
To date, yes, absolutely. It's funny because last year, Brooklyn Bowl was doing this thing called Neon Paradise, where they get like local bands or local acts together. They only did it for like 2 months. I think like the first month was like Mike Xavier, and then the second month was the Dreamers. Those are two big artists out here. Actually, I would say that make major movements out here, but. We were definitely trying to get there, but I can't remember why they shut it down or why they stopped. But after, like, it kind of sucked because you're like, damn, like we really wanted to get the Brooklyn Bowl. So when this time came around, after we did like Hard Rock Vinyl and Hard Rock Live, you know, all of that, we got a call from a guy, David Jones. He's a promoter, and he what was it? I think he recommended us for the show because of how hard we've been working. So when we got that, like it was insane because we had been talking about it for like a year and we were really trying to get there. So being at Brooklyn Bowl and then opening for Little Brother, which is the group that Fonte is in. Yeah. And like I said, like that guy's like one of my biggest influences. So the band getting to open for them was just
sort of like an iconic moment.
Yeah,
right?
it was full circle, like no pun intended, but just it was absolutely crazy. Like the energy in the building was insane. Like Vegas showed so much love that it was just like, wow, like I look at the pictures and I'm still shocked by how big the crowd was. Like it was insane. So many familiar faces too, people that have been supporting us along the way. So it was surreal. Like I'm still riding that wave. It's like to this day.
That's amazing. I bet, like you said, since it was Little Brother and you grew up listening to him, it probably was just...
Man, I got a chance to introduce my older brother to Fonte, and he introduced me to Fonte. So it was just like, it was absolutely insane. It's funny, he predicted it too. Like when I started rapping, he was like, watch, you're going to introduce me to him. And I was like, we'll see. And it actually happened near his, was it November? Yeah, near his birthday. So that was real big. That was big in so many different ways.
So doing a show like that where, of course, it's iconic for you because of Fonte and such a big crowd, biggest show you ever done, was it really nerve-wracking for you?
You know, not necessarily. I always get like butterflies. I always get nervous right before I'll go on stage. But like I've said and I've been told so many times, like if you don't have that feeling before you do something that you're about to love, like you probably shouldn't necessarily be doing it. So it was just the same butterflies that are in my stomach every time before I go on stage. But it was more so like a wow, like I'm really here. Like I used to listen to you when I was 15, 16 years old, and now I'm opening for you with people singing my songs back to me, the same crowd that are singing the songs back to you. So it's just like, or back to him. So it's just like, it was just something else, man.
All right, so we're going to take a short break right about now.
Bad.
So we'll see you guys right back after this ad. All right, so we are back. Hope that ad wasn't too bad for you guys. So
it was awful.
Speaking of, on Apple Podcasts, like we used Spreaker. Since we only have one ad,
right?
We double up on the ad, but the ad's like 1 minute, and then we double up on it, so it's like 2 minutes, and we're like, ooh.
And then a lot of the times, it's the same exact ad that plays.
It's like, I can go boil an egg.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, ooh, we got to change that somehow.
Yeah. So you actually you do your own podcast as well, right?
Yes. The Gatekeepers podcast. We just talk, really. It's just we actually have we've been doing fantasy football.
Oh, nice.
Well, let me take that back. Diz and Lo have been doing fantasy football. Like I forgot my password, and then I was like, forget it. But I had Lamar Jackson, so I was just like, oh, I'm so good. But then I signed in last week, and it was like, you're starting Deshaun Watson. I'm just like, bruh, come on, like the season that Lamar's been having. But no, we just talk about like music, local music, and just like what's going on with Nipsey, like current events, and it's just us being goofy on the podcast. So
that's sort of like how our podcast started. It was just me and him before we did the guest,
right? And
then we would talk basketball topics, new music, things like that.
Yeah. That's solid.
Kind of go back on the fantasy football. I play too.
Do you?
I'm in the semifinals, so it's
all right, good.
Yeah, I got some,
because I am last in my conference. It's not looking good for me. Not at all.
So it's like
not at all.
But I got like some tough matchups this week. I'm like,
who's like your leading guy on the team?
I got, let's see, I would probably say Aaron Jones on the Packers. I have Devontae Adams. So it's like, I have a pretty good team, but they're so inconsistent. So I'm like, please have 2 more good weeks. I'm trying to win some money.
What's the pool?
It's only like, it was $10 buy-in. So it's like $100.
I could say FCC's pool was like $50. So
that's how my uncle's is. And I was like, I got to get out of it. Like I don't got a good enough job yet. I can't be putting $50 in just to be losing.
That's real. That's real.
So being from, you weren't from Vegas, but you live in Vegas now.
I mean, been here almost 20 years, man.
Pretty much, right?
I'm a native at this point. Yeah.
So gambling, do you do that?
No, I have never gambled ever. Like on Pokemon, when you put the little 3 coins in or whatever. But like not like I used to work at a sports book, man, and I've literally seen gambling ruin people's lives. Like I saw this guy who would come in every day, like he had a job, he was looking fresh cut, and like I saw the progression of him like getting addicted to gambling. Yeah. And then like as things were going, like he would come in, he would care less and less about his appearance. He would, I'm trying to get this game, Like he used to be patient, but now he's impatient. And I'm just like, I saw it so much that I was just like, nah, I'm straight. Like I've seen what this does to people. Like I'm not even, I know it's all about balance and control, but I'm all right.
It's not even, you don't even like bet on like sports and stuff like that?
Man, not unless it's something like ridiculous, like in those football games, like those quirky bets. Even then, like I'm still like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like that's I'd rather gamble like in an investment than like a game.
Yeah, definitely.
So you did kind of talk about the production side of music.
Yes.
Do you produce yourself?
Yes, I do actually. Noise and I have a production team called Black Gemini. It's pretty cool. But Noise and I working together, like we it's fucking amazing. It's fun. But yeah, I produce. I've definitely been going ham this year on studying music theory and just tightening up on my production and the technical side of things.
So back in the day in high school, did you ever think that you and Noise would be working together?
I had no idea, like none whatsoever. Like I just kind of looked at it. I don't know if anybody here is an anime fan, but I kind of looked at it as just like Naruto versus Sasuke. And the crazy thing is like Noise's personality isn't even dark. Like he's a pretty cool dude. Like he has a good heart, but it's just, oh man, I was just like, oh, this is weird. But we did do one track on my a mixtape that I had called Rookie of the Year, my senior year of high school, and the chemistry was there already, but it wasn't until about 3-4 years later where a good friend of ours, it's Ray, I guess, he's an artist out here as well, he kind of linked us back together. And then from that point, we just kind of took off because Noise is also from Michigan. He's from Detroit. Oh, okay. So with me being from Saginaw, him being from Detroit, like a lot of the music influences are the same, and a lot of the sound that we chase is very similar. So we just like, we work and we mesh together extremely well. So
I've noticed that you know like a lot of local artists here. Would you say like Vegas is a very tight-knit group when it comes to the artists around here?
Not necessarily. It's just we're a growing music scene. Like we're babies compared to Chicago, Atlanta, New York, LA. Like it's not exactly the same, but we're still growing. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's tight knit, but everybody's, you know, getting out of their comfort zone and starting to collab with everybody else and starting to make moves because they're starting to realize that like if we don't move, no one's going to do it for us. And we definitely want to give a foundation to the artists that are coming, you know, after us, just like the ones before us had set the foundation for us to get on this particular stage. So I wouldn't say it's tight knit. Everybody like knows each other. Everybody really messes with each other. Like even like the culture is just starting to like connect and integrate with each other. Cause you have like models like Samantha Fatone who are in the Dreamers videos and she's like really out here being like a professional model. Like she's really dope. So it's just everything that's coming together. People who make clothes, like shout out to like CMXX when they do like the little shows, they have like the little fashion thing going on. Like the city's actually really dope. Like the local scene, in my opinion, is amazing.
So let's say you had an opportunity to come up in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, LA. Right. Would you consider moving out there, or would you want to stay in Vegas and
the situation definitely would have to be right, just because FCC, like as a whole, like we move a whole lot better together than separately. Like we're all very talented, but we've got to Brooklyn Bowl together in like a time frame of like 2 years. So it wouldn't necessarily make sense for me to go out there unless it was like a situation to where like a label or a bigger artist were like, yo, we want to hone your guys' skill. We want to make some music and then we'll help you push, or they'll invest in us. So unless it's something like that, I don't really see us or me leaving Vegas, especially since it's already the entertainment capital of the world. And every year we're exceeding expectations and going to the next level. So if you're doing that already in the city of entertainment, like, no, the sky's the limit for us. So I don't really see us or me leaving. I'm not saying it's not possible. Like, of course, we'll be open-minded about it. But right now, it's like, nah, like we still have like parts of the city to, I don't want to say take over, but just digest and really get into. So, yeah. So do you have like a dream venue you would ever want to do? An arena you would like to sell out? Not necessarily, yes, but it's not necessarily like an arena or a stadium. It's just more so like a festival vibe. Like I want to find some of the dopest land ever in like any part of the world, which whatever it may be, just like some dope, majestic shit. And then throw like a little festival there of like, it sounds ridiculous, but like 1.5, 2 million people, like a bunch of different stages, just like 6,000-7,000 acres of just having a huge festival like that. That's kind of like my ultimate dream. Like 20, 30 years from now, I hope I'm able to, you know, throw a festival like that. Even 10, because like you never know how things are going to go. Never know. Yeah. Exactly. Never dream too big is what I've learned. Always. If your dream doesn't scare you or your vision doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Exactly. Man. So do you have a, speaking of dream venues, we're going to move to a dream collaboration. What's like an artist you would love to work with? You know, I love the idea of working with other like MCs.
Yeah.
But I don't really necessarily have a dream collaboration. It's more so like on the production side of things, or it's just like, because I would love to sit in the studio and make a track with like K-Tronada, Sam Smith, and Pharrell. Just because like that mixture, I know, and plus my energy, like that's a #1 hit for like the next 40 years. Like I'm just confident, but it's just, I have a mixture, man. It's just like the same way where an individual or producer's like making beats and he's taking like certain instruments. I kind of look at like music like that. So like Pharrell would be an instrument, or like a Timbaland beat would be an instrument, and just like meshing the two together. Just like, that's how my mind works. So dream collabs, most likely just like K-Tronada and then like Pharrell, or just something like that, where it's like the beats are different, and it's just those type of beats set the tone for like the next, you know, couple of months for music that's coming out.
Nice. So is there any current artists right now that you really like listening to?
Surge just dropped the Chasing Summer album this year. I thought that was fucking incredible. I've been listening to that nonstop. I always listen to Kendrick Lamar. Like there's not a day where I don't go listening to Kendrick. Same with Fonte. I used to be really into finding like new music and always searching, but I've been working on like myself and my craft so much that I haven't been really outside of my comfort zone, or really gotten outside of like that particular habit. But I feel that next year I'm going to be definitely expanding a bit more, for sure.
So you did kind of mention a few artist names. Would you have a top 5 for you, like inspiration, or just you think is the best artist right now?
Top 5 for me. Let me see. It's so hard to do a top 5 because like I'm a producer as well.
Too,
yeah.
huh?
So well, you can throw a producer, like, whatever.
From a producer standpoint, I'd have to say Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla for sure. When it comes to like the art of, I guess, like putting an album together and really like writing songs, would definitely be like Fonte, Lauryn Hill, just because like the way that they did things are like incredible to me. And like Lauryn Hill had one album, still to this day, it has a massive impact. Kendrick Lamar for sure, just because of the energy and like his skill of lyricism is insane, but yet he can turn around and write a really good song. Yeah. Like he knows how to write music. And then 5, I'm probably going to go with K-Tronada again, just because like his beats are so different, but like his kicks hit hard and his snares hit hard, and it's just like, it's so groovy and it's so rhythmic that it's just like, I can't get away from it. Like I love it.
It's good hearing a different top 5 from a different point of view, like a producer point of view. A lot of people are, oh, Drake, J. Cole, this and that.
Right.
So it's like, it's good hearing like your reasoning behind it too. Cause a lot of people, cause he's good. It's like, nah, give me another reason why.
Like I have to have like a reason. Like you have to do something that I've never thought of, or that I've never like seen before. Then I'm like, oh snap. Like this is crazy. Like I'm going to try that. Like those are the type of artists, the guys that push the limit, the guys that push the culture and the sound forward. Like even if people aren't aware of it, just because of like, I think, for example, like Frank Ocean, a lot of people know that he's a great artist, but a lot of people wouldn't necessarily say that he's pushing like the culture of the sound forward. And it's just like, he's birthing so many artists that are going to come, that are going to come in the future. That's going to be like, wow, like just his range is insane. Just
I think you
like
even
that.
see that today where like, you got like Trippie Redd, all those artists, like more like emo rap sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They come from, I think, from listening to punk rock when they were growing up and stuff like that.
Like listening, because at that time, that's when like Panic at the Disco was just like crazy. And then even and if you look at that time of hip hop rap, Lil Wayne was popping. Yeah. So like those were the two major influences on those sides of kids listening to different genres. So they like, seems like they mixed the two, you know? Yeah, definitely. Then Future came out, and like you can see a lot of that now for sure.
And sort of how like T-Pain pioneered the autotune.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
definitely.
It's kind of making a comeback too, huh?
Oh, T-Pain?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I love him.
He's been doing a lot. So I don't know if you heard, but there's actually a rumor going around that Kendrick might release an album around the time of Christmas.
That would be amazing. I don't know if it's going to happen, but then again, when you think about Kendrick, like when he did Damn, he just dropped Humble out of nowhere, and I loved it because it's just like, yo, it was a normal day, and you get home and it's like it's this new fire ass Kendrick track, and it's like, oh my god, I love this guy. But I hope so. I don't necessarily know if I'm ready, but when it drops, like it drops. It's just like I'm just gonna listen to it regardless. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how I feel.
Yeah, and so what would you say is probably the artist of the decade? I know it's 2020 next year, so new decade. Who really had this one locked down?
I think when it comes to terms of artistry, I'm going to say probably Kendrick.
Kendrick.
For sure, just because like he's out here, he's just, dude is amazing, man. Like from Section 80 till now, like even I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly, like his best album. People look at me crazy when I say that, but just like from point A to point B and like his growth and everything, like it's just, he's mixed so many different genres. Like To Pimp a Butterfly was just like 70s, the 80s, just like jazzy. Like it was an incredible fusion of music. And I think people sleep on like the producer side or the creator side of Kendrick just because they're just listening to his rap. And it's like, he's not just rapping, man. Like he's choosing these features. He's choosing these producers. Like you're not going to come out with like, you can put Drake with those same producers and songwriters or whatever, but like you're not going to get the same project as like Kendrick. Like it's not going to happen. Like his creative mind, I think, is insane. Personally, I think it's on the same level as like a Frank Ocean, where I think Frank is a bit more poetic with his songwriting, but just like the two together, I think they're for sure when it comes to artistry wise. And then as far as like business and just like who's really just like on top of the charts and like who's, I think a fan favorite is for sure Drake. Like there's no denying it. Like numbers don't lie. Like he's making history. People aren't going to pay attention to the details 10, 20 years from now. Yeah. Like 30, 40 years when people are looking in the record books, like it's going to be Drake's name on so much shit. And it's just going to be like, oh, well, like he's the greatest. Kind of like a Wilt Chamberlain type of thing, like in basketball, where it's like no one's going to. No one's
touching the 100 point record, right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like just stuff like that.
I think freestyle time, no?
Yeah, freestyle, right?
Yeah, if you're still willing to do it. Talk about
eat socks in the morning, dip them in A1 steak sauce.
Oh, you want a beat?
That's it.
All right, let's get this beat going here.
All right, so.
Also, if y'all get a chance, follow me on Vic Smith Music, at Vic Smith Music, VicSmithMusic.com. You feel me?
All right, so do you want to talk about the beat a little bit, or?
This is a beat by a YouTube producer named The Artist. Dude's like one of my favorite. Him, Yondo, Blue Magic Co. Those guys are just like, they know how to make music, and it's really dope. This beat I've been listening to since it like came out, and I just absolutely love the beat. It's classic to me, and I've never got a chance to really like write to it, or well, I can't say I didn't get a chance to write to it, but I never got a chance to really like spit over anything like that. So I just wanted to give it a try today for sure.
All right, for sure.
Here we go.
Ooh, can you turn me up a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? It's Vic Smith on Apartment 3. Shout out to my guys. Incredible podcast. Yeah. Hey, I'm feeling this for sure. Yeah. I could never find my peace. Taking, talking, niggas watching. This is progress. All I did was flip my conscience. No other option would be obsolete. Obviously, impossible. Scream Geronimo. Time to blow is Piranimo till I leave. Please, I'm tsunami. I'm wavy. I'm Japanese. Clapping, they so attracted. His talent is magic. He accurately smashing and dashing. This hash slinging slasher is passing the flabbergasted. I'm cracking the scene. Oh my god, man, what for? Way too hard to be ignored. I get 50 on the dollar, holler back or be destroyed. Me avoid anybody, everybody that could spoil my success. Tired, yes, I've been working such a joy. Manifested, any flexing, stay progressing. Where's my core? No extension, cobra assistant. Let my soldiers all deploy. With the way that I be moving, you would think that it's a tour. She been smoking high vibrations, got me thinking it's a toy. More.
Woo, man, that was good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's dope.
Thank you.
It's always so much better in person, seeing the artist, feeling the beat, feeling the music. It's always so much better, bro. Yeah, man, that was amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely agree with that for sure. Yeah. I was excited. He was like, you can send me a beat. And I was like, he said, what?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's go time. It's go time for sure.
Like I said, it's always better in person. You can feel their energy. And
the
delivery is, it's can't put it into words.
Yeah, that's actually, I've been told a lot that like, people like love my music, I've been told, but they told me, but when they see my performance with the band, they're like, dude, like the music kind of does the performance like no justice. And like that's really cool because like real life is what matters. I mean, granted, the songs and the tracks recorded are just emulations, but that just gives me confidence that when people see me like in a concert, it's like you're going to leave here a fan. If you didn't know who I was before, you're going to leave here a fan.
And then that's why I also think concerts are so special, like because you could really fuck with someone's music, but when you see them live, it's a total different energy.
It's a totally different vibe. Like I'm trying to think of an artist where it was just like he was dope, but then I went there and I was like, Okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Like for example, like Denzel Curry at Life is Beautiful. Like I wasn't necessarily a fan of his music. Like I appreciated it, but then like when I saw him perform and just like it was one of the smaller stages, but dude, like as soon as he got on stage, like there was a gang of people. Like his gravity was insane. Like hundreds of people started running towards the stage. Like it was damn near empty. And then 5 minutes later, you turn around and you're in a sea of people. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? And then he gets out on stage and he just starts going ham. And like that energy, I was like, oh yeah. It's like, I'm going to listen to everything you drop from this point on just because you put all of that shit out on the on stage when you were there. And it's like, I respect the hell out of that. So yeah, I absolutely agree. It's very important.
So we can kind of start wrapping up here. If you have any, like you kind of shouted out the social media a little bit, but you want to tell the people?
Man, just shout out to Vegas in general, man. Shout out to FCCMG, obviously. You know, Noise, Miles Low, Diz, Vic Smith. I'm in the building. Just the Wasteland Squad, man. Harvey, all those guys. JY, like it. The Wasteland is incredible. Shout out to the Dreamers, Mike Xavier, Wolf Dotson, JD Anthony. Like, and if I forget your name, like, don't come at me. Like, it's just if you're ever here in Vegas, like, please check out the Bunkhouse, like the local music scene. Do your research because we're here, just being heavily slept on. That's all it is. Oh, and also shout out to my guy Adam Rose. He's here for sure too. We all elevated.
Dope. So we appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Great podcast.
Great time.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you on in a few more months.
Bet. I'm looking forward to
anything coming out? Or can't talk about it yet?
I can talk about it, but all I can really say is that Mamie Lewis changed the world, and that's all y'all need to know.
All right, there you go.
Great.
All right, well, like we said, we appreciate it.
And this has been Apartment 3, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Apartment 3.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
There we go. Boy. Drip with the sauce, drip.